This video is sponsored by my OnlyFans, where I do my meaningful sex educational content, fitness, health, nutrition, relationship advice, and more. Hi guys, my dear Astartes. So we are once again reviewing another episode of Angels of Death. So we are in the sacred number, on it, episode 7. So what do I think about it? Well, okay, let's first start real quick with Warhammer Plus itself. So the service does not get any better, at least not so far. I'm getting some emails with promises that we're going to have more animations, which of course, that is coming, but for now it's pretty poor. Okay, so let me just go through the service in a second so I can show ya. I cannot show ya because GW probably not gonna like that, but at least I can tell ya what I see. So basically, they did uploaded the GW version of Astartes, which besides the changed audio, I'm not sure if there's even much of a difference besides that, and you can see it on YouTube, so it's not like it's an exclusive content of any kind. There's some recap episodes. There's a lore episode about Rebooted Gilliman, which I'll probably wanna see, just to check how they present him, how they give the information in general compared to other YouTube colleagues. But other than that, we don't have anything of substance besides Angels of Death, and of course Hamor and Boulder are in a break while Angels of Death is going. So there's that. Okay, and of course, hi to everybody in the chat. Oh, don't care. Now my awesome primers are here as well. Matty, Ivy, Jacklydon, Alexander, hi to you too. So, guys, the episode was rather slow. It did continue what happened from the last episode, which it is fine. It does present the way that gene stealers work, how they think, how they see things, how they attack, fight. They're a cult, basically, a very scary, disgusting cult. The feeling that they give out is like insects. Insects that are one with a human for some reason. It's very hard to put my finger on it, but yeah. Then you have the chunk of the episodes, which is this conversation between the female Adeptus Mechanicus and, of course, the main guy, the captain of the Angels of Death. And it's interesting. To say the least, it's interesting. Then you get to see how she thinks, how her whole kind thinks about flesh and everything else, and to some extent there's some truth to what she is saying, and there's maybe a lot to dig in there, at least some part. I don't want to like spoil anything, but it is fascinating. I like the dialogue, I like the exchange, well, mostly done by her. She got, well, interesting things to say, but it's an interesting dynamic in general between someone from the Adeptus Mechanicus and a Blood Angel captain. It's interesting. I don't know what it is. It's just kind of fascinating. And in the meantime, what is happening with angels? The Angels of Death, how they are fighting, how the others are trying to hold the front at the main ship. And then what is happening at the end is basically what is going to happen at the beginning of the next episode. So I do think that the next episode is going to be a lot more dynamic than this one. This one was just a lot of getting to know the Adeptus Mechanicus female and how she thinks, and then what is actually happening here. So, interesting stuff overall, guys. It's not the most exciting episode by far, not even a little bit. The previous was a lot better, also, the previous was a lot better. But I also understand the slow moment and the need of it for some character building for the captain and for her if she is that important. Let me check quickly the synopsis that is just not finished. I mean, they don't finish these synopsises. I just don't get what is it with GW and not finishing their own descriptions of the episode at Warhammer Plus. I just don't get that. So, if I can read that, well, and Chaos, surviving warriors follow Castius Servators, yeah, that is her name, I think, through the undertunnels of Nidus. I'm sorry if I'm butchering those names. The tech priest explains her plan to the paralyzed Captain Orfeo. High above them, in the inner sanctum of the Siren Tower, the Genestealer, Coats Magus. ... Oh, they actually describe it as a cult. Okay. This is written a bit weirdly. But yeah, sorry if I butchered the names, but that's basically the synopsis. It sounds like somewhere there in the mountains, and that's it. somewhere, and yeah, you don't need to know anything else. Okay. So yeah, I wish I mean it was a bit more cohesive. I know that there are codes, but for some reason I didn't assimilate that, and I just said it out of me how I saw them. So okay. Don't Genestealer codes start as really attractive people to breed more of them? Or am I confusing them with something else? Well, they are Tyranids, and they should start as Tyranids, and then they breed with someone, and then they become more human. At least that's how I understand it. Yeah, lack of fighting, Matty, that's a good point. It's just how I said that it's more about the character building here, obviously, I think. But when we talk about the fighting, guys, I do want to point out that the shooting is rather slow. I mean, when they start to shoot, they act like it's so casual. You see, like how the action is not in their faces this time, so it's far away, and they're just shooting with their bolter guns, and it just like super lazy. It just looks like this, like poof 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 poof. Yeah, poof. Yeah, poof. Something like that. And I don't know, I'm not used to see Astartes to be that slow in the fan animations. You see how fast and effective they are. They move swiftly and they execute movements, and it's not like they are getting tired, but here is the opposite. They're getting very tired. Although I do understand that they're dealing with waves and waves of Tyranids. It's just a bit like, well, those amazingly mighty warriors are almost like snails. I mean, they were faster in the previous battles, but there were a lot of effects going on, slow motion. So still, I did not see a very good representation animation-wise of their movements and abilities. And the sound design, once again, is lacking to me. Even the music, it sounds like it's one note, not a lot of layers to it. So yeah, sound design still lacking a lot. I mean, even now, this animation that I just covered, the TTS Reimagined, has a better sound design, in my opinion, than the Angels of Death series in general. So this is just how I feel. I mean, it was a simple animation, the TTS Reimagined, and I still get more into the action. I mean, to what was going on, I was still a bit more immersed because I was like sympathizing with what's happening on the screen a bit more, with how the animations were done and the sound design. But here, Yeah, sometimes they have like really intensive, if that's a word, faces, like that screenshot that I took. That's of the end of the episode. It's pretty cool, but most of the time, the common thing between all of the characters and the animation is how they move their mouths, which is basically, I will describe it as a piece of cloth on the skeleton, like a piece of cloth on the skull, and it just does this. Okay, you know what I mean. And sometimes I can also like recognize similar features between the characters, which is normal for Astartes. But then you see the Gene Stealer, and then you kind of feel like deja vu with his face and the face of the female captain of the main ship, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's similar. And from one side, when you're an artist and you try to draw different characters, you will have something like a repeating style, and some features may repeat. Yeah. For instance, I love to draw Superman type men, and it's kind of hard to change that sometimes. And you can still see my style even if I do manage to change it substantially. So yeah, I guess that's normal, but within animation, I don't know what to say. If it's that obvious, maybe it's not the best idea to do that. Anyway, I digress. I'm just noticing a lot of other things that I as an artist would notice, not only I as a viewer. So yeah, there's that. Reading your comments. Well, don't care. You can always check that. Just go to the wiki. The many armed god, yeah, and they also show that representation of the god, you can say. So, guys, I would give this episode. It's hard to say. I don't want to say 6. Yeah, I would say 7. I mean, it's still a good episode. I mean, it still has food for thought. Maybe yeah, it's not that dynamic. Maybe some things are lacking, but those are the same things that I always mention that are not that good. So they're present in all the episodes. But I was still interested enough because the conversation between the captain and the Adeptus Mechanicus female was good, and I just loved that. I mean, love how she carried herself and her confidence within her craft as well, within what she believes in, how assured of herself she was. So it's just cool. I think that the Adeptus Mechanicus, that tech priest, they're just shown very well through this character. So I appreciate that, and he as well. He's also very good. Well done as the captain, how he is, and he's like, my brothers, and I like that part. Yeah, 7 out of 10, dear Ivy. So guys, that's gonna be my review of Angels of Death. I hope that everything's well and I can see you tomorrow. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, check out the links down below to my OnlyFans, everything that I can be helpful with. And you can also become a member of the channel as a Custody, a Starty, or a Primarch. So I can call you that, and you can have badges in the chat when I live stream and do all of these reviews live. So without further ado, guys, love ya. Until next time with me, KDJ Reviews. Bye bye.